Hello champions and happy Monday. I was really proud of how hard you worked on your quiz Friday and a lot of people improved their scores. Today we're going to have our last day of dividing by one-digit divisors. I know by the end of the day you're going to do an awesome job. We're going to watch this video and practice together, and then you're going to get on IXL and have a chance to practice on your own. Your grades today are going to come from this video and your score on the Play Posit, as well as how hard you work on your IXL and how high you can get your SMART score. You're going to do a great job. Let's get started. I know you can do it, and so does Mr. Smiles. Before we get started, take a moment to fill in your fluency. Go ahead and fill out your multiplication tables. When you're finished, raise your hand so that I can come check them, and you can get a ticket. Now let's do our mixed review problems. Start with 315 minus 284. We need to get sharp on subtraction because that's going to help us when we do long division problems. What's 315 minus 284? Well, 5 minus 4 is 1. I can't subtract 1 minus 8, so I need to borrow from the hundreds place. I can decompose one of my hundreds to make 10 tens. So I now have 2 hundreds and 11 tens. 11 minus 8 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. The answer is 31. Let's look at the next problem. The school ordered 415 packs of pencils. Each pack held 48 pencils. How many pencils did the school order? Well, I know that this is a multiplication problem because each pack has 48 pencils, so I have to add up 48 415 times. Go ahead and do that now. What's 415 times 48? Remember, I can split that 48 into 8 groups and 40 groups and then add to find my answer. Let's see how you did. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 1 is 33. I'm finished with my 8. I can cross out the numbers I carried and the 8. I'm going to drop a 0 because 4 is in the tens place. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. And 4 times 4 is 16. Now I can add my partial products. 0, 2, 9, 9, and 1. The school ordered 19,920 pencils. Let's look at the third problem. 62 divided by 8. Remember, this problem is asking me how many times can I take 8 out of 62 without going over? How many times can I take 8 out of 62 without going over? I can take it out 7 times. I can multiply to see how many I would have used. 7 times 8 is 56. And then I can subtract to see how many I would have left over. I can't subtract 2 minus 6, so I need to borrow. 6 becomes 5, and I now have 12 ones. 12 minus 6 is 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. The answer to this problem is 7, remainder 6. Now look at your intro to new material. Let's talk about the steps to long division using the algorithm. The first thing we need to do is divide in the largest place value. That means finding how many groups of the divisor I can take out. After I've done that, I need to multiply to see how many I used in my groups. After I've multiplied, I can subtract to see how many of that place value unit I have left over. After I've subtracted, I can bring down. When I bring down, I'm decomposing into the next place value. Then I'm going to repeat until I'm finished dividing in the ones place. Let's do some examples. Let's do one together. 314 divided by 5. 314 is the dividend. That's the number I'm splitting up. Remember, division means splitting into equal groups. 5 is the divisor. That's the number I'm dividing by. And I have the steps of long division listed on the side. Because I'm dividing by 5, I need to be able to quickly know my multiples of 5. Go ahead and fill in the multiples of 5 on your paper and then enter them on the computer. Check to make sure you listed your multiples correctly. Now we can solve the division problem. Draw your division symbol. 314, my dividend, goes inside because that's the number I'm splitting up. 5 goes outside because that's the number I'm dividing by. Now I need to decide what place value to start my division in. Can I take a group of 500s out of 300s? No, I cannot start dividing in the hundreds place. Can I take a group of 5 tens out of 31 tens? Yes, I can start dividing in the tens place. Draw a line above the 1 to show that's where we're going to start dividing. The first step to long division is to divide. I need to figure out how many groups of 5 tens can I take out of 31 tens. What's 31 divided by 5? Count by 5 to 31 without going over. 31 divided by 5 is 6. Now that I know I can make 6 groups of 5 tens, I need to multiply 6 times 5 to see how many tens I used in my groups. What's 6 times 5? 6 times 5 is 30. Now, I need to subtract the 31 tens I started with minus the 30 tens that I used to see how many tens I have left over. What's 31 minus 30? 31 minus 30 is 1. My next step is to bring down the 4. I'm going to change my 110 into 10 ones, so now I have 14 ones. I'm going to repeat the process in the ones place. 14 divided by 5. How many groups of 5 can I take out of 14? Count by 5s to 14 without going over. 14 divided by 5 is 2. My next step is to multiply 2 times 5 to see how many ones I used in my groups. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. My next step is to subtract to see how many ones I have left over. What's 14 minus 10? 14 minus 10 is 4. So, I'm finished dividing because I have no more numbers to bring down. I have divided in the ones place. My quotient is 62. That's the answer to my division problem. My remainder is 4. There were 4 ones left over. You did a great job with this example. Let's try another. Let's do another problem. 228 divided by 3. What's the dividend? The dividend is 228. That's the number I'm dividing. What's the divisor? The divisor is 3. That's the number I'm dividing by. Because I'm dividing by 3, let's list the multiples of 3 so we can quickly know them. Check to make sure the multiples on your paper match the multiples I have written on the screen. Now, we are ready to divide. 228, the dividend, goes inside of the sign, and 3, the divisor, goes outside. Let's determine which place I should start dividing in. Can I divide 2 hundredths into groups of 3? I cannot. Can I divide 22 tens into groups of 3? Yes. I'm going to start my division in the tens place. First, I'm going to divide 22 tens divided by 3. How many groups of 3 tens can I take out of 22? What's 22 divided by 3? 22 divided by 3 is 7. I've divided in the tens place. What's my next step? After dividing, I need to multiply to see how many I used. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 3. What's 7 times 3? 7 times 3 is 21. I used 21 tens. What's my next step? I need to subtract to see how many tens I have left over. What's 22 minus 21? 22 minus 21 is 1. What's my next step? I need to bring down my 8 so that I can divide in the ones place. I have 18 ones. What do I do now? I need to divide 18 ones into groups of 3 ones. What's 18 divided by 3? Count by 3 to 18 without going over. 3 goes into 18 6 times. What should I do next? I need to multiply to see how many ones I used. 6 times 3 is 18. What should I do next? I need to subtract to see how many I have left over. What's 18 minus 18? It's 0. I'm finished dividing in the ones place, so I have no more work to do on this division problem. What's the quotient? It's 76. What's the remainder? It's 0. The answer to 228 divided by 3 is 76, remainder 0, or just 76. Let's do one more together. 1,375 divided by 4. What's my dividend? It's 1,375. That's the number I'm splitting up. What's the divisor? The divisor is 4. I know that I'm going to be dividing by 4, so I need to find the multiples of 4 so that I can quickly solve my division problem. Go ahead and list the multiples of 4 on your paper, then enter them on the computer. Check to make sure you've written down the same multiples as me. Now let's divide. 1,375 divided by 4. First, I need to decide where to start dividing. Can I divide 1,000 into groups of 4? No. Can I divide 13 hundreds into groups of 4? Yes, because 13 is bigger than 4. Draw a line over the 3. We're going to start dividing in the hundreds place. What's 13 divided by 4? 4 goes into 13 3 times. What should I do now? My next step is to multiply 3 times 4 to see how many hundreds I used. What's 3 times 4? It's 12. What should I do now? My next step is to subtract 13 minus 12 to see how many hundreds I have left over. What's 13 minus 12? It's 1. What should I do now? I need to bring down my 7. What should I do now? Now I need to divide in the tens place. What's 17 tenths divided by 4? It's 4. What should I do next? I need to multiply 4 times 4 to see how many tens I used. What's 4 times 4? It's 16. Now, what should I do? I need to subtract 17 minus 16 to see how many tens I have left over. What's 17 minus 16? It's 1. I have 1 10 left over. What should I do now? I need to bring down my 5. Now I need to divide 15 divided by 4. What's 15 divided by 4? 4 goes into 15 3 times. What should I do now? I need to multiply 3 times 4 to see how many ones I used. What's 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. Now that I've multiplied, what should I do? I need to subtract to see how many ones I have left over. What's 15 minus 12? 15 minus 12 is 3. I'm finished dividing in the ones place, so I'm finished dividing. What's the quotient and the remainder of this division problem? The quotient is 343. The remainder is 3. Now you try one. What's 3,156 divided by 2? Check your work with mine. The answer is 1,578, remainder 0. Now try the next one. What's 1,963 divided by 6? The answer is 327, remainder 1. Check your work with mine to see how you did. You've done a great job on this video. Now go to Google Classroom and then log into IXL to get some extra practice. You're going to be an amazing divider.